Well, we hope you're having a great family day so far. You know, since 2008, the third Monday of February has been set aside as a provincial holiday to be with our loved ones.
Yes, it's a time to reflect on our lives outside of work. And here at Global Kingston, no matter how busy life gets, we know family comes first.
And over the next 30 minutes, we have a range of stories to share with you about family.
Our first story about a family from Gananoque, their child undergoing a life-saving heart transplant. Here's the story of baby Lucas.
When people say, they'll be like, he didn't have a heart transplant, like they almost don't believe us, and we're like, yeah, I know, he did.
Now at almost 2 years old, Lucas's parents Anne Marie and Milton say he is now doing better than ever and is enjoying life at home with his sister Adelaide.
He's a firecracker. He really is. He just grabs stuff and throws it all the time. His and Adelaide's relationship is so special. I do imagine that one of these days Lucas will learn to fight back or say no to Adelaide, and that might change the relationship a bit. But for now, they are the best of friends, and it's amazing to watch it. You know?
After going through a roller coaster of emotions during the process of waiting to receive a heart, then waiting for Lucas to recover, the family says they no longer sweat the small stuff.
Now all of a sudden it could be like somebody stole the car, and I'd be like, that's not her failure. Right?
Though the parents are grateful for their son's incredible recovery, they will never forget the child who lost their life in order to let Lucas live his.
It's a celebration, but you're also mourning at the same time. And I think every single day we give thanks to the donor family.
We're the success side of the story, right? But there's a flip side of the coin that's, you know.
All we can do is the fact that he's still here and show off the success of it and hope that for that family, wherever they are, that gives them some sort of peace and closure, knowing that,
right.
that their selfless decision saved his life.
Lucas's parents realize that organ donation may not be the most comfortable subject to discuss. However, it is their wish for people to become more open with the topic. They are also taking it upon themselves to possibly help other families who are in need of support.
And the people that know us, our family and friends, and the things that they've told us, that it changed for them as well. So, I mean, it changes our perspective, obviously. That's the obvious one. But, I mean, to have somebody else say to us, like, you know, your experience changed how I look at my children, or your experience changed how I look at life. And that's what's unbelievable, in my opinion.
Jennifer Bassa, Global News.
What family means to me is spending time with people and people who love you and having fun.
Family is everything. There's no purpose in life, I think, without family.
Family is the people that you go to no matter what. If it's something good or something bad, they're the people that you go to and you know they're going to be there and they're going to have words to say, whether they're helpful or not, no matter what.
It's good that they set apart like a specific day just for family day, but it should also be like every day or like any time that you can make time.
Well, I think family means always having a safe place to come home to, unconditional love and support. Having your own child gives you so much more respect for other parents and other families, and it's not easy, but it's one of the most rewarding things ever.
You know, Shauna, something else that's rewarding for families is when they go into business. You often hear of the mom and the pop stores, but there's also many families who've been working together for generations.
Yes, including a couple of brothers who've been making beer together.
This is where the dairy stalls would have been.
Family can mean many things to many people, but for the McKinnon brothers, Daniel and Ivan, family is closely tied to the land their family has farmed since 1784.
My kids are the 9th generation on the farm, which is something I'm super proud of. So, yeah, I think the history and the tradition and the heritage of the place is what I think of when I think of the family.
Steeped in family history and memories everywhere the brothers look on their 1,300 acres north of Bath.
My grandpa, when like a tree would fall, we would take it out of the woods or when it was ready to be harvested, we would take it and stack it up and we'd mill up the lumber.
And Daniel says he gets regular reminders of those days with his grandfather as a child, maintaining the barn today, working with that same lumber.
When I pull that wood out, I think of the times my grandpa and I were out sawing, milling up these logs and stack them in the barn for, you know, for a rainy day or when you need them in the future. And I think he'd be pretty proud of us seeing what we've done.
And what the brothers have done is improve the viability of the farm with the creation of their successful craft brewery, keeping both land and the business in the family. Daniel and Ivan work together now by choice, but say when they were kids, the situation may have been a little more forced.
Probably the majority of the time we got along just fine, but I do remember, you know, like you alluded to, maybe a rock being thrown at someone or at least held up in your hand in defense.
I would say we definitely get along better now than we did when we were kids.
What is the secret to working together? The brothers say it's about knowing when to pick your battles and understanding their strengths.
We can discuss things and yell at each other and not take it badly.
The one who disagrees, but it's not that big a deal too, will kind of back off a little bit.
They have also found their own niche in running the business.
I worked in the brewing industry for a few years. Skills I learned growing up on a farm and, you know, knowing how to make the beer, knowing how to take the ingredients from our farm and what type we need to grow.
Mechanical engineer, lots of project management experience, and food safety, quality stuff, you know, sanitary design, those type of things.
This barn is being converted into a place to hold events. But when the McKinnon brothers' parents bought it in the 1990s, this barn was primarily used for storage. And storage, by the way, is code for playground when you're a child.
Playing in big old barns when you're a kid, there's a lot of fun, and there's always a lot of stuff in there and lots of room to run around. And
lots of different things to explore, for sure.
The two siblings, separated in age by just a couple of years, want to continue to grow as business partners and, as the label implies, keeping it in the family. Darren Davis, Global News, Bath.
What's a family gathering without some food? We put the making of that food in the spotlight when Family First returns.
You know, Shauna, for many, family gatherings revolve around one thing, and that is food. The making of that food is the focus of our next story.
Yes, a group of Kingston grandmothers is hosting monthly classes to teach the art of Italian cooking to the next generation. And as I found out, cooking with the Nonas is a sellout every time.
Chances are they've been cooking longer than you've been alive. Decades spent honing the skills they first learned in their mother's kitchens in Italy.
When we were little, when Mom, she was cooking, she always have us around. They used to say, you have to learn to cook. Because if you get married one day, you have to cook for your husband.
They're known as the Nonas.
Tomatoes, and then you squash with your hands. You can do it in the process.
No professional training here. These Italian grandmothers have spent decades perfecting time-honored recipes in their own kitchens. Now they teach what they know to sell out crowds every month. Tonight's recipe, ravioli.
So you can see. It's so, I have so enjoyment even to get prepared for them to come. It's beautiful. To set the table so fancy, like my sister always told me, it's very important.
And it's that sense of family that has some of their students coming back again and again.
I love the Nonas. I love their spirit. They make me laugh, and they're beautiful, and the food is wonderful. And it's also nice because every time you come, you meet somebody new.
I had a great spot sitting right up front, and I could see them cooking. And I have a lot of respect for what they do.
We're not Italian, but we come from a long line of local farmers, where food also is very important. You grow your own and you eat your own, and you learn how to cook it from the elders.
The traditional one is better.
But it's not just a cooking lesson. It's a chance for everyone in the room to feel Italian for one night.
All about the love and the amore that they put into the meal and the fact that the family sits down together, enjoys the meal together, shares the experience of the day of a lifetime, and that's how stories are shared multi-generational.
And for the Nonas, the work they do in the kitchen means they're doing their part to carry on traditions from back home.
I feel like what I've done for my children, it's a piece of art. They appreciate, they admire, they like it, and they said, oh, Mom, this is good. Mom, this is good.
Handing a piece of the old world to a new generation, one ravioli at a time. Because to them, food and family go hand in hand.
It's all about love, creating food with love, and it's almost like when you eat it, you can feel the love that went into the preparation of the meal.
And on Family Day, if you can't be with the ones you love,
Call your grandmother. Go to see your grandmother more often. You know what my granddaughter said? Let's go to Nana's house, you always have food. She always said that.
Family means to me people that love each other and will be there for each other even when you mess up or make a bad decision. They'll be there to support you and love you.
Families, relatives, but firefighters have a family. We all have each other's back, and we're always together. If somebody needs something, we're all there to help out.
What family means to me is hanging with friends, hanging with family, be awesome, be cheerful, and play games.
Well, to me, Family Day is pretty much every day. Any chance I have to spend with James and my daughter Monica, of course my grandson Joey is just golden.
I got you.
Joey just turned 2. He's a bundle of energy and he certainly keeps me young.
Family Day to us means being able to spend the day together playing, doing activities, and just enjoying each other's company.
Somebody's getting a raspberry.
With our focus on Family First, we include foster families.
Yes, fostering children is a big responsibility, but as you'll see, it's also very rewarding. It's a sad reality when children can't stay in the care of their biological mother or father. There are a lot of reasons, sometimes abuse, neglect, or just a need to get out of the house for a time. That's where foster parents come in. Tammy Marshall and her husband John have been foster parents for 5 years. In that time, they've cared for a dozen children from all kinds of circumstances. It takes a village to raise a child, and that's what foster parenting is, the community stepping up to say, I can help.
The need in the community, first and foremost, and to, give back.
Currently, they are looking after 3 boys aged 11, 14, and 16, placed in their care by Family and Children's Services of Kingston, Frontenac, Lennox, and Addington. For privacy reasons, we can't show you the boys or identify them. But the Marshalls, who live in a 5-bedroom home in Harrowsmith and never had kids of their own, they say fostering is rewarding.
It's probably the hardest thing we've ever done, but we get the most out of it.
As in any household, there are some rules foster kids must follow. The top priority here is going to school. But when it comes to household structure like doing chores...
Oh, you can do it yourself.
Tammy lets the boys decide how best to help.
For the most part, they can pick their own chores. So, one of the kids loves being fit, so he's out shoveling all the time. Another guy likes, things to be tidy, so he's always doing laundry.
Tammy says it's important to build bonds and establish trust, but there are other ways to create a family atmosphere.
Are you cute?
Meet Bam Bam and Diesel, 2 Mastiff dogs, another big part of this special kind of family. Waiting for the school bus to arrive, the pets have developed a connection with the kids, and over time, the feeling is mutual.
The dogs teach them so much about relationships, about caring, about taking care of somebody.
Important life lessons, and when things go sideways, as they often do with teenagers, Family and Children's Services is there to assist. Tammy says there can sometimes be a stigma attached to foster parents, as much as being foster kids. Something she hopes will change as people become more aware of just what a foster family is.
You know, we don't go out and advertise that we're foster parents. We don't, you know, generally speaking, when we're with the boys, we don't introduce them as our, you know, foster children. I think that's because of the stigma. The kids, sometimes people feel like there's a reason and that the kids have done something wrong. You know, we need to try to do something to change that, because these are just kids that need love and support and, you know, somewhere to call home until they can get back to where they need to be.
And the Marshalls say they've kept in touch with their former foster kids who've since moved on to start their own lives. They may not be blood, but they are family, no matter what.
I feel like we're going to be doing this for a long time. There'll always be kids around as long as there's a need. Good job. They just teach us so much every day. Every day.
Family means that they'll love you for who you are, and they won't judge you, and they're going to always be there for you, and they'll just love you forever.
Well, I think what makes a good family member is family who helps you out and looks after you, especially when you're living on your own like I am. I really love my brother and sister. They're two very special people to me.
On this family day, I'm reminded of the love of family. Sadly for me, both my parents have passed on. I have 3 older brothers that have passed on. So I'm reminded every day to tell the ones you love that you cherish them, that you love them. But family doesn't necessarily have to mean blood. I look at the city as my family and its beautiful citizens. I look at the Tragically Hip fans as my family. I look at the Tragically Hip boys as my older brothers. Even work. I look at work people as part of my family. So family doesn't necessarily have to mean blood, but I'm wishing you a happy family day.
When Family First returns, we'll have the heartwarming story of a special delivery, a mother who gave birth outside a Kingston donut shop, and the lasting friendships that formed from that experience.
As they say, it takes a village, and this next story is certainly an example of that.
Yes, the story involves paramedics, a mother who gave birth in the parking lot of a donut shop, and the special bond they've formed.
Hello! Can I hug you? Yes, absolutely.
Meeting for the first time since the birth of their son Miles, Mom Deb Darling and Dad Kevin Monk met the paramedics who helped deliver their baby in the parking lot of the Coffeeway Donuts at Division and Concession Streets in Kingston.
Oh!
It was just before 9 a.m. on Tuesday, October 8th, when baby Miles made his hasty appearance. The couple thought they had all the time in the world to get to Kingston General Hospital from Sydenham.
Contractions were not really consistent at that point and not intense at all.
And when we left Sydenham, she was at 4 minutes apart.
Yeah.
So between Sydenham and here, which is about 10-15 minutes, it went from 0 to 100 real fast.
This is my oldest. This is Avery.
And it isn't the couple's first child. They have a 4-year-old daughter, Avery, a 48-hour labor. This time, very different.
Into the back of the ambulance, and he was then out. I'm not even sure if they had the doors closed.
Before I
really
closed the van door and walked to the side door in the ambulance, it was over.
Well, usually it's not as imminent as it was this time. Usually we have lots of time to play with.
Paramedics Andrew Larish and Liz Kalninins, along with 2 other colleagues from Frontenac Paramedic Services, helped deliver baby Miles.
This time we showed up and could see Deb already ready to go. So
Baby was coming.
Yeah. That was definitely a surprise.
Right.
Wasn't expecting that one.
I want to get a picture of him with you guys.
I love the atmosphere. I love the family.
Because we are a family,
We are family.
Owner Chris Brzezinski now calls himself Godfather, baking a Miles donut in honor of his birth. Monk, a customer for the last 25 years.
He's the godfather of the baby and the donuts.
The father was coming in because he is my regular customer, and he loved my eclairs. He says, "This is a baby boy. I need my eclairs now." I'm so stressed.
Everyone in this story says that the events on that October morning has now formed a lifelong connection, a new family of complete strangers.
Family.
Miles, born at 7 pounds 7 ounces. Neil McCartney, Global News, Kingston.
Family means to me people that love each other and want to be with each other for the rest of their life, and they'll do anything for each other.
Well, that's everything you do when you're not doing the thing you have to do, like work. Pretty much how I want to spend all my free time.
I'm going to have Wallace do the first one.
To me, family is my safe place to come home every night, and no matter what has happened during the day, as soon as I come through the front door, that I forget about all of that. It's just about being together and being kind and being patient and being a better person.
Are you eating it?
I just put some whipped cream.
Hopefully encouraging your kids to do the same, and I really hope that my husband and I have been able to do that for our girls.
I hope you're having a good family day, and don't forget to include your fur family members. I've got 5 of them.
With 5, it does get challenging at times, but the reward is great. Remember to include them in what you're doing, have fun with them, and keep them safe and healthy too. This February, it could get pretty cold. Keep them indoors. That's advice from the weatherman.
Sharing a meal with his wife and 2 young children is a moment Elise Nkurunziza cherishes every day. Even the ability to ask a simple question is a newfound pleasure.
What did you do today at school?
Nkurunziza came to Canada and Kingston after fleeing civil war in Burundi as a child.
That civil war has been going on before I was born. I found it there. So 1993, my parents decided to flee the country.
They went to Tanzania, but Nkurunziza was separated from his parents and ended up spending 2 decades as a refugee in Zambia. Almost 8 years ago, he was accepted as a refugee by the Canadian government. It still took 6 years from acceptance to arriving here a year and a half ago. But Nkurunziza says the Canadian government gave him something no other country has in his lifetime struggle, a place to call home.
Canada has been the first country to accept me the way I am and say, okay, we are giving a chance to be one of us.
An opportunity the young father and husband was determined not to squander. His main focus when he arrived in Canada was to find a job so he could bring his family here.
In the factory, we run different systems of machine. Yeah, so.
And while focused on getting his family here, being alone was difficult for Nkurunziza and his wife and children back in Zambia.
And I have to keep going. I don't have to give up. So if I move around in the street and I see someone holding 2 boys like this, I'll say, wow. Yeah, that's what I miss.
You miss each other a lot. Sometimes you can communicate, sometimes you cannot. So it was a tough challenge, yeah.
But a challenge with results when Princess and the 2 boys, Juan and Elijah, arrived in Toronto only 4 weeks ago.
Wow, it was like heaven. Yeah, that was great. It was like a dream come true.
It's beyond what the simple word can express, because it's kind of excitement which goes beyond.
Not only will the newly united family be spending their first family day together, but Juan and Elijah are both celebrating their first birthdays in Canada this month. Darren Davis, Global News, Kingston.
Well, Shauna, there are so many stories to share about families.
Yes, we hope you enjoyed our special presentation, putting the spotlight on Family First.
And from our family here at Global Kingston, we'd like to wish you and yours a very happy Family Day. Thanks for watching.
Happy Family Day!
Family First is brought to you by Chase on Ford, your family Ford store.